families live very close to the school. Carla and Pedro Maldonado have 2 kids who were in Mass during the attack. They lived close enough to have heard the shots, and they rushed to the scene. Thankfully, neither of their kids was wounded. I spoke to Carla and Pedro just before airtime. Carla, let me start with you. I'm so glad your kids are safe. You live very close to the school. You and your husband heard the shots, and you ran to the school. What did you see? What happened then?
Yeah, so when I ran over to the school and I got down the street that leads to the church, I saw some orange smoke to the right side of the school. And at this point, I still had no idea what was happening. I thought maybe there were fireworks. I had no idea. My husband had said that earlier before we left the house that those are gunshots and they're at the school. So I took off running. And when I got in eye shot of the church, there was that orange smoke on the side. And at that same time, another school mom that lives near the school on that street was outside, and I asked her what's going on, and she said, I don't know. You know, not long after that, I feel something hit my ankle, and it felt like something like ricocheted off the ground, like a piece of pavement or something, like hit my ankle. And then that's when this other friend, mom friend, said, like, holy shit, he has a gun. And so we both ran inside the house. At that point, I was already on the call, or had already called 911.
Do you think the gunman was actually shooting in your direction? It was some sort of a ricochet of some gravel or something, or do you know you don't know what that was?
I'm speculating that he did shoot in our direction.
Pedro, how long was it before you were able to see your son and your daughter, and you knew that they were okay, and have they told you about what they saw?
So how it started is that Carla and I were at the house talking, and then I heard the first round of shots, and I told Carla, those are gunshots. I was barefoot, so I told my wife, run to the school to the backside, and while I put my tennis shoes on. So I put my tennis shoes on, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to drive to the front of the school because this is so recently that I am sure the police is not there. So I was driving to the school. We live a block away from the school, a block and a half. And while I was driving, I was like in a mission, like I am going to try to save as many kids as I can, even if I have to give my life away. As soon as I opened the door of my car, I heard one last shot, and I ran towards the back side of the school, of the church, to look for this guy, and I couldn't find him. Probably a minute after, and then the first cop showed up, and I told the cop that was in the back of the school and the church, and then the second cop arrived, and then I told them as well that he was in the back of the school. And then that's when my wife was in the back of the school, back of the church. And then the third cop arrived, and that's when the teachers at the school opened the church. They opened the church, and I walked inside the church with the police officer, with the first one. And the things that I saw, I don't wish any parent would see ever in their lives, because it was terrific, and I hope that nobody else goes through this, because it is horrible.
Carla, did your kids know any of the victims? How are they doing right now?
Yeah. So yes, both of our kids and us as well know the families of the victims. We don't know at this point all of the victims yet. We don't have names, but we do know the families of the 2 children that have passed, and we knew that our kids were okay because Pedro, when he got to the church, were yelling for them, and he found our daughter, who was 7. And then we didn't know about our son, who was 11, until a little bit later. He had been escorted to the basement of the church for safety. but he was okay and ended up getting escorted outside of the church.
Pedro, have your kids had active shooter drills? Which is, I mean, it's a bizarre question to even ask, but I mean, it is a sign of the times.
Yes, they have all the time, and even Carla volunteers at the school often.
Yeah.
And they have drills very often.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I was volunteering in one of the classrooms, and I was present during one of these. The kids call it lockdown drills, and so I, got to see how the teachers handle the classroom and the kids and getting them to a safe spot. So the answer is yes, they do have active, dangerous person on the premises drills. And I have such mixed feelings right now, so many of them. But I am just incredibly grateful that the school did and had been preparing. And also just incredibly sad and angry that this has to be a thing in any school, that we have to prepare our kids to protect themselves from an assault, from a firearm assault at school. And my mind is going everywhere. This is not the first time. I'm not the first parent to express these concerns. I'm not the first mom to say how many more kids have to get killed. And so it's a little bit like this is feeling like a broken record, and it's not okay. I'm so grateful to the staff and the first responders. They did amazing, and I do believe that they saved lives today. And the lives that were lost is too much. One is too much, and it's not okay.
Carla and Pedro, I'm so sorry for what everybody there is going through, and I'm so glad your kids are okay, and I appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anderson.